Welcome to theCUBE, everyone. I'm John Furrier, your host here at theCUBE's NYSE studio, part of the NYSE Wired program, a CUBE original. Of course, it's an open network of tech, global network. Of course, we want to bring you all the action. We have Palo Alto studio connecting Silicon Valley. We've got a great guest here in our AI Factory series. A little bit of crossover with some crypto infrastructure, but that's all merging. The data centers and the energy is the story. And energy, if you have it, you can do all kinds of cool things and build out the kind of systems that are needed to power this AI generation. Olzhas Amirov is here, Chief Business Development Officer, Enegix Global. He's got a lot going on, so I'm looking forward to this conversation. Welcome to theCUBE. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for the invitation, John.
You know, we love talking to leaders who are on the frontier. And we were talking before we came on camera about the synergies around Bitcoin mining and AI infrastructure. Very similar DNA. Get the data centers, get that energy, mine that Bitcoin, get those Bitcoins, and the price of Bitcoin's obviously where it is, and all the early pioneers made a lot of money. Things are good, it's hard to do. That's a great market, and we love Bitcoin. AI is similar. All the winners that are going on, this neo cloud sector, AI infrastructure, are all coming from the same DNA. Energy, but purpose-built data centers that were designed and engineered for the AI systems. I mean, Bitcoin had some specialty to it, but it wasn't as complex as AI. So, but the bottom line, if you have the energy,
yes,
you have it. So you guys are doing it. So explain what you guys are doing, because this is a really interesting story.
Thank you, John, for the question. I believe it's better to start with our story. We're quite new to the market. So we're an Enegix Global company. We originally started in the Eastern Hemisphere. By this moment, developed more than 250 megawatts of data center infrastructure, both grid connected and off-grid with our own generation. And as you said, we've been in the Bitcoin mining business, doing hosting, and we love this market and still there. But we definitely see how big is the AI market and what are the big opportunities over there. So what we're doing right now, we acquired an oil and gas producer in Canada and transformed it into a data center AI factory company.
You bought an oil and gas producer company.
Yes.
And you're taking that into your system.
Yes. That's
okay, explain that, because this is where I think you mentioned it prior, that you have your own energy.
Right.
And that's going to be a key part of the story. Explain the oil and gas relationship.
Yeah, so everybody today speaks about vertical integration. We see all these players, including our peers who were in Bitcoin mining business before, they're transitioning into AI, but the story that they have is a grid connection. So they
got to get the energy. They don't make it.
Yeah, so at the end, they're renting, they're buying the power. And we on our side, we want to own the power that we operate. And that's basically the different story. And even speaking from the vertical integration standpoint, it's not about the power plant, the gas production, the gas power plant, sorry. It's about gas production itself. So it's a source that at the end produces the energy. And we believe that since we're in the business where the energy consumed in just large volumes, the long story and the safer play is about controlling your cost, which definitely means controlling the energy.
You guys have roots in Kazakhstan, and I mentioned that the data centers and AI data centers are converging. Sovereignty is a big discussion, geopolitical. You're in Kazakhstan, you're in the Eastern Hemisphere, you got North America. You guys got a nice footprint. Explain the international and the geopolitical situation first at Kazakhstan. Explain what's it like there right now, what's the climate like, headwind, tailwind, robust, and how do you guys connect that out going forward?
Well, thank you, John, for the question. Actually, I think it's important to point it out that Kazakhstan is separate stories for now. So we separate both the ventures, the Eastern Hemisphere projects and the Northern American projects. And right now, speaking about AI factories, it's more about Northern America because we basically see that a lot of demand is here. But speaking about the Kazakhstan and everything we have there, the regulation and the country is really stable. So a lot of investors coming in from US to a lot of big deals happening. And from our standpoint, we actually been in this market from our inception since 2017 and faced different stages of the government
Yeah.
perspective on
Yeah.
the Bitcoin mining and the data center business. We had the problems with not the problems, but misunderstandings with the government where they didn't know how to regulate the industry, and that's where we helped back in 2023. So we helped to make Bitcoin mining and data center
Yeah.
business legal in our country and overall crypto. And
Yeah.
so honestly, it's quite often about the taxes and the compliance.
Yeah.
So
I
we
mean, most
help
people
with
think about
both.
Bitcoin mining as chasing coins, you know, kid in the garage, but you're talking about big mega, we got 250 megawatts. So the question I have for you, what business are you in now? Because the AI sounds like you're an AI company, you're an AI factory producer.
Right.
Is that, what is, explain your business. What business are you in?
So I believe the best way to explain ourselves that we are independent power producer. Um, we have the data center infrastructure in the Eastern Hemisphere, but in Canada, it's a independent power producer where we can collaborate with hyperscalers and data center companies and be data centers by ourselves. And that's really unique because previously it was all about the grid connection. Historically, everybody wanted to connect to the grid to find their end customer. Right now, we're living in the era in such a how to say booming market that you don't need to connect to the grid to have a client. You can be your own client, and that's actually what we have. Bitcoin mining is still our story. So our revenue is generated from Bitcoin mining, and long term, we is gonna be AI.
Okay, so AI and energy infrastructure is what we're talking about. I wrote a post last week called "The Third Leg of the AI Infrastructure." I posted it on LinkedIn. I should post it on SiliconANGLE, but it was about energy is always the bounding function. That's what everyone talks about. It's true. Jensen has on the bottom of his chart at GTC, energy is the lowest level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs in the AI world. Shelter, food, energy, but money is
Right.
also a constraint because there's a lot of expansion. You're sitting on a wave of demand on the AI infrastructure. Take us through how you're thinking about building out these systems because you have your own energy. You're going to vertically integrate. That's what you just said. What does that look like? Because all the major players don't want to get locked into, well, NVIDIA's got a great rack. I spend millions of dollars on it. So that's great training. And then they go, oops, we need inference. And we designed everything for training. So you're starting to see design going into a versatility mode, saying, okay, I want to have the best system for training and inference. Inference obviously is expensive and it's
Right.
super important.
Right.
So how do you think about the design, given you got the energy?
Yep. So long term, what we believe in and what is our competitive mode is, as we said, having the lowest energy cost. What we are targeting is below 2 cents per kilowatt hour. That's just something.
Which
It's
one?
below 2 cents per kilowatt hour. It's U.S. cents, so it's extremely low. Um, and we believe that's a fundamental, a concrete to grow in a more valuable and value generating ventures like, for example, hosting the GPU companies, the company that own the GPUs.
Yeah.
Uh,
You control your own destiny with
yes,
the power.
yeah,
You get better unit economics.
yes, and we believe that's the story how we can.
That's the story.
That's the
You're
story.
optimizing for energy optimization,
Yeah,
consumption, efficiency.
and that's it. Like when we control our expenses, we know how to get into how to say more riskier projects. For example, buying the GPUs from NVIDIA because we know that fundamentally we are secure, and that's basically how we differ from other companies because most of them they are buying the energy, so they are not controlling their cost, and they are also having this very high capex on their business.
Yeah.
So it really makes it
So
difficult.
high price to rent from the grid or other energy source. But also NVIDIA talks a lot about their GPUs. And in fact, insiders talk openly, it's a public secret that a lot of the GPUs are underutilized and has nothing to do with the fact that of the latency of the packets, it's the energy availability.
Right.
So energy is again constraining and bounding that piece. Um, NVIDIA must like that. So take us through how your energy control point feeds the GPUs or makes the GPUs better.
So Of course, there's a lot of how to say data center designs and the companies that helping us through this journey. We are having several OEMs that helping us to design it all. But speaking from the infrastructure standpoint, we basically know that GPUs consume a lot of energy. And we already see this story even with the racks. The data centers that were developed like 3 or 4 years ago, they're having the racks for up to 30 kilowatts per rack. And right now it's only one new GPU server where the Rubin consumes more than 100. And that's basically the constraint. What we believe is once we secure the power, the hardest asset and the most, how to say, important asset within all this infrastructure. I'm not telling that GPU is not important, but what I'm telling is we can the GPUs are announced once in half a year, in 12 months. So it's always you have to be quite updated with the infrastructure they have. But the layer of energy is a core, and we believe that with the partners that we work with, we can have this combination all in one place.
So you also have 21 pool.
Yeah.
Explain what that is. Is
So
that part of the business or a separate company, or is it to explain the relationship with 21 pool?
so let me tell about the Bitcoin mining story
Okay.
rather than the Bitcoin mining is still our business. And you asked about the energy. We know there's no problem of GPUs not taking all the energy, but we always have a Bitcoin mining as an option to get our excessive power. So it's just basically the client that we always have in place. Um,
So basically, you have Bitcoin as backup reserve to use the power to make more Bitcoin, make more money.
right,
So, okay, we can't serve AI, swap in the Bitcoin.
right.
That's what you basically have.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's
you're
what-
utilizing the power.
Yeah. So we don't feel that utilizing the power won't be a problem. Like even we have an option to connect to the grid. I will return to the 21 pool question later, but regarding the power, we always have an option to connect to the grid. The grid utilities in many countries we already know are interested to not bring only the consumer, the data centers, but the suppliers to the market too, and they're interested to make it like a fast track. So if you are data center producing your own power or even your own gas for this power, you have a faster track to connect to the grid because in this case the grid is used just as a redundancy.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, so talk about the sovereignty angle, because maybe relates to you, but I'd imagine from my standpoint, if I want to dig in digitally from a country, given all the geopolitical and all the money to be made in AI and Bitcoin, I'd love to have this model vertically integrated in my country.
right.
Is there demand there? Are you seeing that on your radar? Is that on your business plan?
Yeah. Actually, we know that we can scale this project design and our vision is basically finding the lowest energy source within the region. It's either gas or renewable energies, and like to power the data centers.
Okay, so I'm fascinated. I love how you weave in the Bitcoin as the backup, or no AI demand. We go to the Bitcoin. Either way, you win. Where are you guys now? Explain the progress. What are you hoping to do? You're in New York. Obviously, it's some money conversations. Capital's important.
Right.
Talk about the company status, where it is, the progress it's making, the plans, the funding. What are your goals?
So we already proved our concept in Canada regarding that we can produce the energy below 2 cents per kilowatt hour. We are planning to scale the storage to 100 megawatts. Actually, our long-term plan is gigawatt plus just over there, and we believe globally we can grow even more aggressive. Um,
Are you looking for capital?
we are looking for capital. We are having some private rounds right now, and I believe public listing will be one of the options even in near future.
How many data centers do you have now?
We operate 2 data centers in Kazakhstan, but and one in Canada. But Canada project, the one that will probably go public, is a different story. So
Yeah.
we can sell it's one flagman project
Well,
in
congratulations. I love the story. I love how you got the control your own destiny with the power. And that's replicatable across other opportunities. So do you run out of power with that relationship, or what's the power envelope look like for you? In other words, can you replicate the model with other power sources?
Canada. For sure, we can do. we can look into renewable energies. There is right now we see emerging technologies in nuclear generation. So we believe that's all the options we have.
Yeah, you're doing the hard stuff first.
Yeah.
Everyone else is going the other direction. Let's get the racks, and then where's the power?
Yeah. That's
Congratulations.
exactly
Thanks for coming on theCUBE. Appreciate it. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE. This is our AI Factory series, one of the most popular series. AI infrastructure continues to boom along, and obviously the agents are about a year away on a full steady state, we believe. But the AI infrastructure on a global scale, it converges all that Bitcoin mining, the sovereignty conversations, and AI infrastructure, all kind of come into one thing. It is infrastructure. It's powering tokens, it's powering value. And again, this is where the energy is the key, and you control the energy, you control your own destiny. We're going to see more of this for sure on theCUBE soon. Thanks for watching.